Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, welcome guests. With your permission, I shall give all the reports combined. Yes, let me see. There were a total of 47 hours and arms in this meeting we all share. Not equally. The person who led us was a guest, I shall not name, but 12 hours and arms. And the beauty about Toastmasters is that it teaches you how to be conscious about these things. It was a little difficult for me to tap the glass and write at the same time and listen for grammar, so you didn't hear the glass tapping, but a lot of that was because I was concentrating on listening. Which is the other thing that prompted me to take up this role. I took up this role because I need to learn how to listen. And listening sometimes means that you do nothing else and you cross out everything else that you're doing and just listen carefully. And I hope that I have learned my lesson. With regard to grammar, there was interesting use of grammar. Nature does not allow a vacuum. That was our president. I'll just choose a few things. Fell victim to as an icon. But there are also a few interesting uses of the word grammar. Pronunciation, shepherd versus shepherd. I believe the correct pronunciation would be shepherd. And I don't believe a shepherd looks after sheep as cows. A herdsman looks after cows, not a shepherd. Mzungu versus Muhindi, well, it is, much as we understand what that is, there are audiences where you need to qualify that particular statement. I schooled in. I would rather we said I went to school at a certain place. We do not school, we go to school. Education at the secondary level is not schooling. It is attending a high school. You can extrapolate that. Belabor to deliver a speech. Belabor to deliver a speech implies that the speech was difficult. It extracted the way you extract blood. Do you understand that you're coming here to remove it from your bones? So I wouldn't. Much as it sounds dramatic, I think there are other ways we can express that. Offspring versus siblings. There are other offsprings in my family. I have siblings. When you listen to it, you get what I'm talking. In May the 15th versus on May the 15th. Exactly at 2 p.m. At 2 p.m. Exactly, or at 2 p.m. sharp. Bursa versus buzzer. I didn't understand what a buzzer was, and I need to look it up. That pronunciation. Quite a catchy one. I think that was an incorrect use of the English language. But overall, I thought that the use of quotations among the speech makers was excellent. And I observed that a lot of, in fact, all the icebreakers used quotations in their speeches and attempted to incorporate the word of the day. I never heard that from all three, and that was really So now we will go, and Jackie, you lost a perfect opportunity to use the word magnanimous in your speech, and I tried to give you, and I tried. You came towards it and you couldn't use the word of the day.
I was not sure why you were raising it.
Now I know. Excellent. So now I put the general evaluation of the meeting. The room was set up very early. I was here at quarter to 1. Everything was ready. The banner was set up. The Toastmaster and Michael were here in the room, arranging for the rules. Until the speaker stepped in, they were not sure if there would be 3 speeches to start with. And that accounts for why we are running late in this manner, because at that point, we're only sure about one speech. It is important that you as AAR members take up a lot of the roles, and that is why I wouldn't take up the role of evaluator, because in this particular setting, we need to take up the roles as they arise, because this is our club. We had a very interesting visitor from South Africa on Monday, who comes from a company where their policy is to have Toastmasters as a leadership development tool within the organization. And there are organizations that have 50 clubs within the organizations themselves, and it is mandatory for them to attend, that everybody under the age of 35 must be in a Toastmasters club within that organization. So we need to take advantage of this resource that has been offered to us. There are protocols with regard to Toastmastering or being a member of a Toastmasters club. We do not leave the lectern unattended. There must always be someone present here. So when you call upon someone, you wait until the person comes and then you shake their hand and then you leave, and they wait for you so that when you come, you leave. But the whole thing about us being here is we're here to learn.
Yes.
We're here to learn.
Yes.
That's the only way we'll ever learn, because we learn by observing, and I encourage you to keep coming for the meetings so that we keep seeing these things and keep hearing them. I thought that the standing up during, after the ice break, I think, was very encouraging. Maybe the recipients of the standing ovations can testify that it feels good. Very rarely do we have the opportunities for people to commend us for doing something like an icebreaker, and I think it's a fantastic thing to do. And we do it only for the icebreakers, and in some clubs we also do it for the CC10, when someone completes the manuals. So it might be a tradition that you want to start up here at the Upper Hill Toastmasters Club. When we go to the evaluations, I would like to emphasize that evaluations are personal opinions. An evaluation is the person's personal opinion about what he or she heard from the speaker. So in doing that, we need to emphasize that I thought, I think, I this, I that, rather than you confused us, or we were left behind, or we did. Because again, you don't know what we thought. You might not have the same opinion as everybody is here. There are people who resonated with the issues that were raised. And I'll take up a specific one with regard to greeting and what it is. Now, for Toastmasters, it is true that we emphasize you don't come and greet the audience, you have been introduced properly enough, and that elicits a response. But in the African culture, can you imagine if you had gone, you'd gone for your girl, and you got into the room, the elders were there, and you just started talking. Would you be mad at something? So we are coming from a culture that is quite different from what is in the manuals. So even as we evaluate, we need to take that into account, that we are Africans. So even as you inform people about what we expect from the manual, there's the taking into account the context in which we operate, and realizing that there's something that we need to overcome to get where we're supposed to be. Having said that, we need to read the manuals and adhere to what the manuals say. I liked it that the evaluators had a sandwich approach. They started with the good, they started with something that was helpful, and then finished with a good compliment. Now, we don't have to tell them, let me start with the good things first. Because then that implies that there are bad things coming. Which can be a terrifying experience if it is a nice break. So it is possible to state all those things without necessarily having to say that now I'm coming into the place where I give you the injections. Okay, it can be implied, and then the ending can come. I am amazed by the progress that Upper Hill Toastmasters Club has made in this time. I am honored to be associated with it. I encourage you to keep coming for the meetings, keep talking among yourselves. I loved it that you had mentors. I loved it that you got together before that. Be encouraged. Refresher, don't take so long to do your speech. Okay? Don't be so afraid. You can see it's a nice, friendly environment in which we come in to build each other, and if this club goes where it's supposed to be, it will be the differentiator between AAR and every other insurance company. This club will be the differentiator. So I invite you to keep at it, keep inviting us, and keep enjoying the meetings. Madam Toastmaster.
I request that the panel, once you have your best speech, best evaluator, as well